Our tale starts in the bustling city of Toronto, Canada in the late 1980s. In the heart of this vibrant metropolis, two lives would intersect, setting the stage for a chilling narrative. Paul Bernardo, a charismatic young man with a seemingly normal upbringing, crossed paths with Carla Homolka, a bright-eyed teenager known for her bubbly personality and love for animals. Their meeting was seemingly innocent, yet beneath the surface, a darker dynamic was beginning to take shape. Bernardo, despite his charming exterior, was developing a pattern of violent tendencies. His behavior was escalating, growing increasingly aggressive and worrisome. Yet this side of him remained hidden from most, concealed behind a mask of charm and affability. Homolka, on the other hand, was drawn to Bernardo's charisma. She was smitten, oblivious to the growing darkness within him. Their relationship blossomed, but it was far from the fairy tale romance it appeared to be. As time passed, the couple's relationship grew more intense, more complex. With each passing day, Bernardo's violent tendencies became more pronounced. Yet, they remained largely unnoticed, overshadowed by the veneer of normality that the couple projected. Despite the escalating violence, Homolka remained by Bernardo's side. The dynamics of their relationship were shifting, becoming more sinister. What had started as a typical romance was morphing into something far more disturbing. The city of Toronto, with its towering skyscrapers and bustling streets, remained blissfully unaware of the storm brewing in its midst. Life continued as usual, with people going about their daily routines, oblivious to the impending doom. As the late 1980s gave way to the early 1990s, Bernardo and Homolka's relationship grew more dangerous, more volatile. The seeds of a horrifying narrative were being sown, unbeknownst to those around them. Little did anyone know, a series of horrifying events were about to unfold. The couple's twisted relationship took a dark turn as they committed a series of heinous crimes. Between 1987 and 1990, Paul Bernardo and Carla Homolka carried out a series of disturbing acts that would forever tarnish their names. Yet their crimes were not immediately known. They moved in the shadows, their terrible secret hidden from the world. Their first known victim was Carla's younger sister, a tragic event that took place in 1987. It's hard to fathom the depth of their depravity, the extent to which they betrayed the trust of their loved ones. Over the next 3 years, they targeted other young women, their victims chosen at random. Each one was treated with a horrifying lack of humanity. These were not just crimes against individuals, but against the very fabric of society. Among their victims were Leslie Mahaffey and Kristen French, two innocent young lives snuffed out too soon. Their names deserve to be remembered, their lives celebrated. They were daughters, friends, students, with their whole lives ahead of them. It is heartbreaking to consider the potential that was lost, the futures that were stolen. The couple's reign of terror continued without suspicion for a time. They lived a double life, presenting a facade of normalcy while committing unspeakable acts behind closed doors. It is chilling to consider the ease with which they deceived their community, concealing their monstrous nature beneath a veneer of respectability. The crimes committed by Bernardo and Homolka were not just physical, but psychological, leaving lasting scars on the victims' families and the community. The repercussions extended far beyond the immediate horror, causing a ripple of fear and distrust that swept across the nation. The reign of terror left a community in fear and a nation in shock. As the body count grew, so did the urgency of the police investigation. The dark cloud of terror that had descended upon the province of Ontario was growing heavier with each passing day, and law enforcement was under immense pressure to bring the perpetrators to justice. The initial investigation was fraught with challenges. The sheer brutality of the crimes left the police shocked and scrambling for clues. The victims were seemingly chosen at random, making it nearly impossible to predict where the killers would strike next. And the lack of a clear pattern made it all the more difficult to identify any potential suspects. Law enforcement faced further difficulties in their attempts to gather and analyze evidence. They were dealing with a new breed of criminal, one who left little trace of their horrific acts. The investigators were forced to rely heavily on forensic science, a field that was still in its nascent stages in the early 90s. As the investigation dragged on, the media began to take notice. The press dubbed the perpetrators the Ken and Barbie killers due to their seemingly normal, attractive appearance. This nickname, while seemingly trivial, had a profound effect on the public's perception of the case. It served as a chilling reminder that even the most ordinary-looking individuals could harbor dark secrets. Despite these challenges, the police were slowly but surely closing in. They had managed to gather a considerable amount of evidence and were beginning to piece together a terrifying picture of the couple's crimes. Yet, due to a series of missteps and missed opportunities, the couple managed to evade capture for far longer than they should have. And so, the investigation continued, with the authorities doggedly pursuing every lead, every hint of a clue. They were determined to bring the killers to justice, to lift the veil of fear that had descended upon Ontario. But as the days turned into weeks, and then into months, the elusive couple remained just out of grasp. Despite the mounting evidence, the elusive couple remained just out of grasp. Finally, in 1993, the net began to close around the infamous duo. The walls of their carefully constructed facade of normality began to crumble, revealing the monstrous reality that lay beneath. The turning point in the investigation arrived in the form of a crucial piece of evidence. A set of videotapes were discovered, hidden away in their home. These tapes were chilling in their content, displaying the horrifying truth of the couple's heinous acts. The discovery of these tapes would become a pivotal moment in the case, irrefutably linking Bernardo and Homolka to their crimes. As the evidence mounted, a strange twist of fate occurred. Karla Homolka, perhaps sensing the impending doom, decided to cooperate with the police. She struck a controversial deal, known as the deal with the devil, granting her a reduced sentence in exchange for her testimony against Bernardo. This move would prove instrumental in the takedown of the notorious criminal. The day of reckoning arrived in February 1993, when Paul Bernardo was arrested. 4 months later, Homolka was also taken into custody. The pair were charged with numerous atrocities, their horrifying deeds finally catching up with them. The trial that followed was one that gripped the nation. The horrific details of their crimes exposed, the couple was subjected to the full force of the law. Bernardo was found guilty and given a life sentence, while Homolka, due to her deal, served only 12 years before being released. Their reign of terror was over, but the impact of their crimes was far from finished. The aftermath of their actions would continue to reverberate through the lives of their victims, their families, and the entire nation. The chilling tale of Paul Bernardo and Karla Homolka serves as a stark reminder of the depths of depravity that can lurk beneath the surface of seeming normality. In the wake of the trials, the nation was left to grapple with the horrors that had been committed. Bernardo and Homolka, two individuals who had once walked among us as seemingly ordinary citizens, had been unveiled as perpetrators of unthinkable crimes. The trial was a spectacle that gripped the nation. As the horrific details of their actions were laid bare, a collective shudder ran through the spine of the Canadian public. Bernardo was ultimately convicted and sentenced to life imprisonment without the possibility of parole. Homolka, on the other hand, struck a controversial plea deal. In exchange for her testimony against Bernardo, she received a reduced sentence of 12 years. The public's reaction was a mix of relief and outrage. Relief that these individuals were no longer a threat to society, but outrage over Homolka's plea deal. Many felt that her sentence did not match the severity of her crimes. Protest erupted across the country, sparking a nationwide conversation about the fairness of our justice system. The aftermath of this case led to significant changes in law enforcement procedures and policies. It highlighted the necessity for more thorough investigations and the importance of considering all possible angles and perspectives. Policies were reformed to ensure better communication between different law enforcement agencies, and stricter guidelines were put in place for plea deals. The case also led to an increased focus on victim support. The courage of the survivors and the families of the victims was a beacon of resilience in the face of such darkness. They became advocates for change, pushing for more resources and better services for victims of violent crimes. This case, as horrific as it was, served as a catalyst for change. It forced the nation to confront the darkness that can exist in the most unexpected places, and it prompted a re-evaluation of our justice system and law enforcement practices. The case of Paul Bernardo and Karla Homolka remains one of Canada's most disturbing and unforgettable true crime stories. The legacy left by this case is one of sorrow, change, and remembrance. The lives taken by Paul Bernardo and Carla Homolka left a profound impact, a void that can never be filled, on the families of the victims and the community. The nation of Canada was shaken to its core, forever marked by the horrific events that unfolded. The importance of remembering the victims, not just as victims, but as vibrant individuals whose lives were cut tragically short, cannot be overstated. Their memories serve as a stark reminder of the depth of human cruelty, but also the resilience of the human spirit. Society has learned, and continues to learn from this dark chapter. Policies have been implemented, laws have been amended, all in an attempt to prevent such atrocities from happening again. As we remember this dark chapter in Canadian history, we honor the victims and hope for a future free from such horrors. Thank you for watching this deep dive into the case of Paul Bernardo and Carla Homolka. We hope it has been both informative and a sobering reminder of the importance of vigilance and safety in our own lives. If you enjoyed this video and want to join us in exploring more true crime cases, please consider subscribing to our channel and hitting the notification bell to stay updated on our latest releases. Share this video with others who might be interested. A better informed community is a safer one. Remember, the dark chapters of our history are lessons, not just stories. So, stay curious, stay vigilant, and as always, stay safe. Until next time.